And what was your position when you started in September 1973 at the U.S. Guardian's office in Los Angeles?
I started as the PR establishment officer.
What does that mean?
I was responsible for the training and the enhancement of all PR staff in the U.S., at the U.S. Bureau.
And the U.S. Bureau was in Los Angeles?
Yes.
And what did that entail?
Seeing that they were trained, seeing that they received enhancement, making sure that they had the right materials at their desk to work. I was also responsible for such things as desks, that there was enough desks, there was enough paper. I was also responsible for the weekly finance of the Bureau, for the weekly finance meetings with the other bureaus. Everything that goes into what you would call the establishment of the Bureau.
And the Bureau is the Guardian's office?
The PR Bureau.
And the PR Bureau is one of how many bureaus in the Guardian's office?
At that time, there was 4 and there was a 5th about to come.
What was the 5th one?
Social coordination.
Now, at the Guardian's office, U.S. Guardian's office in Los Angeles, did you participate in any of the religious image programs?
Section as to the form?
No.
Was there someone else doing that, or was that not going on there?
Section as to the form?
My task at that time was purely internal. It was the others who sent the programs to the outer organizations.
Okay. And how long were you at the U.S. Guardian's office in Los Angeles?
I was at the USGO from 73 until early 82.
Now, while at the U.S. Guardian's office, did you participate in any way with any covert operations?
Objection is to the form?
No.
Sir, how many years, Mr. Young, did you participate as a member of Scientology?
Objection asked and answered.
Nearly 21.
In those 21 years, did you observe secular areas of Scientology?
Objection is to the form?
Yes.
What are those secular areas?
Objection is to the form?
World Internet, WISE, which is World Institute of Scientology Enterprises, for WISE, was one of the larger ones.
What's the purpose and function of WISE?
Well, there was the stated purpose and then there was the real purpose. Which one do you want?
Well, what was the stated purpose?
To coordinate and serve as an umbrella of coordination for private businesses that were using the administrative technology of L. Ron Hubbard.
Administrative technology?
Administrative technology of L. Ron Hubbard.
Objection, move to strike, lack of foundation.
And what does that mean, the administrative technology?
The policy letters were being used by private businesses for helping to run their business.
And how did you ever become familiar with how WISE was operated?
Yes.
How so?
I became familiar at Los Angeles just by working with them.
When did you work with WISE in Los Angeles?
Well, with WISE, as it was starting to form.
Okay, can you give us a time frame when that started?
That was much later.
Oh.
Well, can we get a time frame?
What time frame was that?
Getting closer to 1980.
When you left the Davis franchise and went over to the San Francisco org, known as the Church of Scientology of San Francisco, was there any religious matters discussed at the San Francisco org, since it called itself the Church of Scientology, rather than a Dianetic and Scientology Center?
No.
Objection is to the form.
And move to strike the response.
While you were at the franchise in Davis, did it ever put out a sign or pamphlet or anything, or designated itself as the Church of Scientology?
Objection is to the form, and this has been asked and answered. And Ken, why are we going back to 1970 now?
No.
We've already done this. Move to strike the answer.
When you were at the U.S. Guardian's office in Los Angeles, what was the name of that place?
Excuse me? Ken,
What was the name of the org in Los Angeles?
We were our own org, just the USGO.
Okay. Were there any...
Unlike the San Francisco, we were not part of another org. We were just our own org.
Okay. Were in this Guardian's office, this org, as you described it, in Los Angeles, was there any religious functions performed?
Objection is to the form.
No.
Were there any worship services?
No.
Any chapels?
Objection is to the form.
No.
Did you ever receive any training in what Scientology calls SP?
Yes.
And what is SP?
Suppressive person.
Where and when did you receive that training?
The first training was when I was first trained at the USGO.
In Los Angeles?
Yes.
That 4 or 5 month interval?
Yes.
What did that training consist of?
The nature...
Objection is to the form, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The nature and characteristics of suppressive persons and how to deal with them.
And what is the definition of suppressive person in Scientology?
Objection is to the form.
Anybody who basically impedes, criticizes Scientology.
And in your training, what did Scientology teach on how to deal with suppressive persons?
Objection is to the form.
Well, we had something, a body of technology, which originally was just called fair game.
Go ahead.
He intends to interrupt every question you can answer. Just
Well, actually, Ken, that's not true, and I haven't interrupted any answer. I did move to strike that gratuitous comment that Mr. Vaughn Young just made, or Robert Young just made. I haven't interrupted any answers. I am allowed...
What's the gratuitous comment?
You heard what the gratuitous comment is. Just go ahead.
Mr. Young.
What I want to know is, why are you continuing to focus on 1970? Go ahead.
Mr. Young, what did Scientology teach you in your training at Los Angeles in reference to how to deal with suppressive persons?
Objection is to the form.
As far as we were concerned in the GO, they were to be attacked.
In which way?
Objection is to the form.
Through PR, intel, and legal.
And what do you mean by PR?
The PR would be using, say, media, getting media stories about the suppressive.
And what do you mean by intel?
Intel would do investigations of the person. They would do covert ops on the person.
Move to strike.
And what was the third one?
Legal.
What does legal mean?
If there was an avenue, if somebody could turn it up, you'd bring a lawsuit against them.